In a small village, cradled by winding rivers, there were so many untold stories about the many benefits gotten from the sacred water. Let me start this story with Bogi, a young beautiful woman who has been married to her husband, Noni, for 10 years. She was kind, hardworking, and deeply in love with her husband. But their home remained silent. No small feet scurrying on the floor, no lullabies sung into the night, and no cries of a little one. The village whispered each time she passed. A woman with no child is like a tree without fruit. Perhaps she has angered the ancestors. Bogi bore their whispers like thorns beneath her skin. She sought help from every herbalist, every priest, every shrine. She fasted, she wept, she made offerings at dawn and begged the skies at midnight. But still, her womb remained untouched by life. One evening, in the heavy quiet of her sorrow, Bogi wandered to the edge of the sacred river. It was said to be a place where the spirit world and the living cross paths. There, beneath the silver moon, sat an old woman with long, riverweed hair and a face half veiled in shadows. "The river knows your ache," the woman whispered. "It can offer what you seek, but remember, borrowed blessings must always be returned." Desperation drowned Bogi's fear. She agreed. Then the old woman nodded and said to her, "Drink when the moon kisses the stream. By sunrise, your womb shall bloom." Without fully understanding the cost, Bogi drank from the river out of desperation. She was tired of the whispers, the tears, and all of the pain that came with her childlessness. She wanted to end it all. By morning, her body changed. Within hours, she swelled with life, and in 9 months, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. They named her Kati. The village rejoiced. Noni was overjoyed. And for a time, Bogi believed her suffering was over. Her mother-in-law was the happiest grandmother. Bogi was pampered through her recovery phase. One night, not long after Kati's birth, Bogi awoke from a vivid, strange dream. She was standing by the river again. The same old woman waited there, smiling faintly. "The river remembers," the woman had whispered. "The river never forgets." When Bogi woke, her heart raced violently in her chest. She was drenched in sweat, her clothes clinging to her skin. But no matter how hard she tried, the meaning of the dream escaped her. Days passed. Then months. Then years. The dreams returned, but she brushed them away like scattered leaves. Life filled her home at last. Kati's laughter lit every corner of their house. Her joy softened Noni's heart, and her beauty became known across the village. But as seasons shifted, something in Bogi's heart remained uneasy. She never conceived again. Her friends suggested more herbs, more rituals, but Bogi declined. She dared not go near the river. She dared not ask for more. "Perhaps this is enough," she told herself. "Perhaps this is all the river will take." Bogi continues to live in denial. The strange dreams no longer visited her, yet her memory of that first night by the river clung like a shadow on her soul. Every time she bathed Kati, she would see droplets that refused to dry. The thought of losing Kati was a cliff she could not approach. She clung to the belief that perhaps the river had forgotten. Perhaps the old woman was just a figment of her desperate mind. But the river never forgets. Things took a different turn when Kati began to see them. At first, it was just shadows. They appeared to her as weak flickers that disappeared when she turned. In the daytime, she would feel a presence trailing behind her as she played with friends. When she turned, no one was there. At night, the shadows became bolder. Kati would awaken in her bed to see them gathered by her window, tall, unmoving figures with glowing eyes like cold lanterns. They never came closer. They only watched. But it was the dreams that frightened her most. Night after night, she dreamed of the same riverbank. Night after night, she met the same old woman. The woman would smile gently and whisper the same words. "It is almost time, little one. The river waits for you." Kati kept these dreams to herself. She could not bring herself to spoil her parents' happiness. But inside, the unease grew. She noticed the water never left her skin. Even after drying off, her fingertips remained cool and damp. She felt tethered to something she did not understand. One day, as she sat alone beneath a tree, then the old woman appeared sitting next to her. Out of curiosity and fear, she asked aloud, "Who are you? Why do you follow me?" The air grew still. A soft voice, familiar and strange, answered, "We are the ones who lent you life. Soon, you must come home." Kati's chest tightened. She had always known, somehow, that she was not like the others. That night, for the first time, she told her mother everything, the shadows, the dreams, the old woman. Bogi's heart shattered. The truth, long buried, now stood before her. The old woman returned, this time appearing in the center of their home as if summoned by Bogi's silent grief. "It is time." Bogi fell to her knees, weeping. "Please. Take anything else. Take me instead." But the woman only shook her head. "The river does not batter. It remembers. It collects." Bogi and Noni packed quickly, running from village to village, seeking priests, healers, anyone who could sever the river's grip. After wandering from village to village, desperate to escape the river's reach, Bogi and Noni finally found a man who offered them hope, a fetish doctor whose name was whispered in fear and reverence. "The river goddess can be stopped," the man told them, his heart thick with the smell of herbs and smoke. "Your child can stay. But you must follow my instructions carefully." He prepared a black, bitter concoction, chanting over it as beads of cowries rattled in his hands. "Give this to her when the rains come. And wear these charms always. The river will lose its grip. You will be safe." With their hearts clinging to the promise, they did exactly as they were told. They settled in the village, far from the haunted riverbanks. Kati began school, made new friends, and life slowly stitched itself back into something that resembled normal. But the rains came. And so did the river. The first time it happened, Kati had been playing in the schoolyard when the skies broke open. The rain drenched everyone, but only she collapsed, her body trembling, her skin sleek and cold as though she had been submerged in deep water. Her classmates screamed and rushed to help her, lifting her frail body and carrying her home. Bogi and Noni panicked, quickly brewing the fetish doctor's concoction, pouring it down Kati's throat as her breathing slowed. The moment the bitter liquid touched her tongue, she gasped and jolted awake. It became a ritual. Every rainfall dragged Kati into the same fainting spell. Each time, the school called on Bogi to take her home. She proceeded to administer the concoction that kept her tethered to this world. The rainy season became a season of fear. Kati missed weeks of school, falling far behind in her studies. Her teachers grew concerned, but Bogi made excuses. "She's just delicate." But they all knew something was wrong. When the dry season finally came, the attack stopped. But Bogi's problems only deepened. She and Noni tried for more children. Years passed. She drank herbs. She visited healers. She begged the gods. Her womb remained silent. And the one who was supposed to comfort her started to change. It started with late nights and then resentment. Noni had found someone else. Her name was Killer, a younger woman from the village. Killer wanted more. She wanted a home, a husband. She wanted to replace Bogi. She whispered sweet promises to Noni and slowly convinced him to make things official. "Come and meet my people," she urged. "Let them know you are mine." For months, Noni wrestled with the decision. But as Bogi's womb remained closed, his resolve hardened. Convinced about his love for Killer, he made his arrangements. On the morning of the day he was to visit Killer's people, Noni dressed beautifully for the occasion. He called Bogi to the small sitting room. "I'm going to meet her people today," he said, his voice firm and cold. "I will take another wife." The words crushed Bogi like stone. She fell to her knees, begging him, "Please, don't do this to me. I have stood by you. I have given you a daughter. A daughter who does not belong to us," he snapped. "You brought this curse upon us." Bogi sobbed, but he shoved her aside. "When I return, make sure this house is properly arranged." He stepped toward the door, adjusting his fine attire, his chin raised in cruel finality. He took some people with him to settle the marriage rites for Killer's hand in marriage. After all the rites had been made, it was time to take Killer home and start a new life where she would bear children for him. But just as he touched the handle to leave with his new wife, his body trembled. His knees buckled. He gasped. And Noni slumped into Killer's hands and gave up the ghost. Some accused Bogi of being the cause, as she did not want a rival in her home. The elders were called. The diviners were summoned. They all said the same thing. The river does not share its blessings. The river does not forgive betrayal. Noni had tried to abandon the woman who had risked everything to give him a child. He forgot the river's grip. Bogi became a widow at the expense of her husband's selfish desire. The journey back to their home village was slow and heavy. For years, Bogi had avoided the village, fearing the river, the whispers, the memories she had buried deep beneath layers of time. But tradition could not be ignored. Noni's body had to be buried on his father's land, among his people, where his ancestors could receive him. The news of his death had traveled ahead of them. When Bogi arrived with Kati, the villagers were already waiting. Some greeted them with cold eyes. Some with quiet pity. Most with curiosity. "That's her, the woman who killed her husband because of another woman. That's their cursed child. See what happened to the man who tried to defy the gods." The weight of their stares pressed into Bogi's skin. The next morning, the elders led the morning rituals. The women wailed in high, sharp tones as the pallbearers carried Noni's wrapped body toward the family compound. Bogi walked behind them, her steps trembling but steady. Kati clung to her mother, her small hand tight with confusion and fear. At the gravesite, Bogi performed the final rites herself. She knelt by the grave, pressing her palm into the red earth. "May the ancestors receive you. May they judge you kindly." Her voice cracked, but she did not weep openly. The tears had dried long before this day. The women of the village, bound by custom, prepared the morning fire and dressed Bogi in the widow's cloth. But even amid the ritual chants, Bogi felt something pulling her, something ancient and cold. That night, after the burial, Bogi sat alone by the fire, Kati asleep in her lap. Her mother-in-law sat with her quietly, her wrinkled hands folded tightly. "The river is not done with you, Bogi," the old woman whispered. "You should not have returned." "The river was never done with me," Bogi said softly, her eyes fixed on the flames. "Then why did you come?" she asked. "Because I cannot run forever. Because this is his home. Because even in death, he belongs to his people." The old woman sighed and shook her head. "You are strong, but strength does not bargain with the river." Bogi said nothing. She simply ran her fingers through Kati's hair, knowing that the river still waited. Days after the burial rites were done, Bogi knew it was time to leave again. She took Kati and strapped a small bundle of their few belongings on her back. As they ran, the forest pressed in around them, the trees thick, the air heavy with the scent of wet earth. Kati's small feet stumbled now and then, but she did not complain. She simply held her mother's hand tightly, as though letting go would pull them both apart. "Mama, where are we going?" Kati asked softly. "Farther," Bogi whispered. "Farther from the river. Farther from where it can reach us." But even as she said it, she knew there was no far enough. By midday, the sky began to darken. There was sawdust everywhere. Bogi's heart seized in her chest. The clouds rolled in thick and fast, the kind of clouds that carry more than just rain, they carry memory, they carry the river's voice. "Mama, it's going to rain," Kati said, fear rising in her voice. Bogi looked around desperately. There was no shelter. No house. No cave. Only trees and earth and the endless, open path. She tightened her grip on Kati's hand. "We must keep moving." The first drops fell. They ran. The rain followed. Heavier now. Colder. Kati's legs buckled. Her body trembled violently. "No, my child, not yet. Not here. Hold on." Bogi lifted her daughter into her arms, her legs pounding against the muddy earth as the rain drenched them both. Kati's breath grew shallow. Her eyes fluttered. "Mama, the woman, she's here." "No, no, you can't see her. Don't look. Don't speak to her." But the woman's voice came like thunder. "There is nowhere you can run. The river always takes what it is owed." Bogi fell to her knees, the weight of her daughter pressing into her chest, the rain now seeping into her bones. "Please, take me instead. Leave her. She is just a child." "You were told from the beginning," the voice whispered, "borrowed blessings must always be returned." Kati's eyes filled with tears as she struggled to speak. "Mama, don't leave me. Let's go together." Bogi wept bitterly, rocking her daughter as the rain crashed around them. "Yes, my child. Together. Always together." The river's whisper swelled and they found themselves in the middle of the sacred water. Bogi could not let go of Kati as life was already miserable for her without a husband and a child. The thought of spending her remaining days alone left a bitter taste in her mouth, and she had no other option than to go with Kati to wherever she came from. "We will go. We will return what was borrowed. But you will not go alone." No one found their bodies. No one knew where they vanished. The river always waits. The river always remembers. And the river always collects.